Yo, what is up, home slices? Working on the IS again today. I'm going to be dialing in the suspension, ride height wise. And I'm also going to be taking my POR 15, that magic rust stuff, and I'm just going to coat the inside. Look how much it's spinning. That's literally tire. Like, this thing just spins all day, especially since I dialed in the boost. I found out what was wrong. I think, well, I know what the problem was, but I think the reason why I did it is I wanted this thing to run stock because it was over boosting prior. So I hooked it up factory and it worked, and I forgot about that as I was putting this thing in. So it wasn't reaching over 11 pounds of boost, so I properly routed the boost controller to the front wastegate, which controls both turbos. Next step basically is taking all this rat's nest off of hard line. I just don't know if the rear VSVs are going to see vacuum or not, but I'm going to try to plug it as best as I can and take those off. So I'll be dropping it in the front, raising it in the rear, and applying that POR 15. So one thing about these Yanaka coilovers, very good price. These are like 600 bucks on sale, but the wrenches fit like crap. I have to put a decently thick washer in there in order for it to grab and tighten. And then they only give you one size of, looks like lock rings, but they only give you one more wrench. So how are you supposed to lock those two together? Because you have a really tiny wrench here. It's kind of a weird setup. So this is what I'm using for undercoating. This one dried, but I poked a hole in it. So I just have to push this down and let the pressure alleviate the fluid that's below. But this is an amazing anti-rust agent. They say you don't even have to paint it, and it kills the rust. Just stops it from breathing, and it forms pretty much into a solid. So that's what I'm touching up this. I know this thing's not a show car, but it still looks pretty decent for the most part, and I want to keep it that way. So having more metal is always better in case I do decide to fully restore this thing and paint it. So it's not in bad shape. Previous owner did try to do some undercoating, so I'm just going to go ahead and touch up those areas like right there, and yeah, move on to the next side. I want to go off on absolute reference, so I'd say use the top of this tube to that same point up there, just after, or just in between those two gold rings right there up top, or not gold, but my camera is, there we go, those two rings up here. So up here right in the middle. So that's where I stick my tape, and then I measure to the top of this thing here. So that'll give you the absolute distance. Using these rings, it doesn't guarantee you, because your coilovers might be set differently. So just FYI. Now I'm going to bolt the wheels on, see how it sits, and if I like it, mimic on the other side. All right, I'm loving the back. Looks a lot better. The tire is level with the rear fender, rear quarter, and the front is sitting a lot lower. So I'm going to go do a measurement on all four and tell you guys where we stand. All right, guys, before I move on to the rear tire here, this is the other side of the bottom of the rocker. Now, believe it or not, this is actually in really good shape compared to most IS300s. Back here, they all rust bad. I passed one yesterday that this was all rotten. So mine is decently solid. It's really soft right here. I'm going to paint it over with the POR 15, and I'm going to get them properly sealed or properly sealed and fixed. The difference is if they're going to be properly sealed, I'm going to put side skirts on them, and that'll be that. If I get them fixed, side skirts won't be going on them because it'll be showing, right? So I'm going to go over this and then paint it with the color match that I have, and obviously go over any spots that need touch-ups in here like I did the other side, and just preserving the car the way it is, because right now it's decent for sure, and I don't want it to get worse. This would honestly go a lot faster if you didn't have to slip this into the wrench, between the wrench and this lock ring. My lord, Yanaka, what were you thinking? I just wanted to show you guys that I dropped the car just enough, literally, for that lip to just clear that. So that's awesome. Another thing I wanted to point out is I end up taking out the big horn that was here. You can see this one on this side. Well, there was one right here, so it's blocking, you know, a lot of the airflow coming here. So I took that off, as well as the hood insulator. And right now, this thing's been running for 10-15, and I'm sitting at 167. So I think we got it for the most part. All right, y'all, she is dialed. It is the same all the way around. I did leave the passenger side just a hair higher because usually I'm the only one driving this. So when I get in, it'll level out, if you know what I'm saying. So that looks a lot better. Both sides are 13.5 from the center of the wheel bore, of the center cap basically. And that obviously is the same point of reference on both sides. Not having to worry about the variation in level of the ground. So 13.5, it was like 14.12. So the front looks a hell of a lot better. Look at that. The rear is the same. This side was high. This side was lower than the other side. So now they are the same. And it just looks so much better. So super happy with where this is going. Like I said, it's running about 15 to 17 pounds of boost. It's honestly a monster for what it is. I'm gonna need tires really soon because those just spin right off the car. Like you've seen the rubber all on the back bumper. So yeah, that's the suspension dialed in. There's not much else left to do that I wanted to get done over winter with this thing. It's really good. The only thing left is the stereo. I'm hoping that's a ground because we already tackled the head unit ground. I moved it to a like for sure ground, and the noise is still there. So I'm assuming it is an amp ground. So we're gonna work on that next. But this thing is running and driving perfectly fine. It's not leaking anything. All the leaks are fixed. The cooling issue is fixed for the most part. If I stop the car from a pull, it starts to warm up to about 215, 217, but then it drops right down. It only does that very rarely, like right after I do a pull. If I'm cruising on the highway, it's like 190. The worst it gets on the highway is 195. And usually when I stop, it gets to about 205. So taking the hood insulation out did help for sure. And I still got to burp the cooling system, so I might do that next. It has a little bit more bubbles in it. So yeah, there's IS300, guys. It's coming along. Make sure to like this video if you like the video, and check out the channel for more videos like this. And if you enjoy the videos you see, subscribe. All right, everybody. Peace.